I didn't expect all these media anyway, because the event already passed. I don't have many things to say that are not already said. It was a very interesting experience, very unique, of course. The conclave was very short, one day. What was very interesting were the preparation days, the so-called congregations, where we met, the cardinals met, in order to exchange, to discuss. And for many of us, it was the first time we met, because we didn't meet before, many of us. So it was quite interesting to hear about almost 200, because there are also those non-electors talking, to hear all different variety of opinions about two main topics. The ideas were mainly two: relation with the world and the life of the church. They were main, of course, with the different opinions and so on, but a very good atmosphere, very positive. I know that the media like to talk about disagreements and so on. Well, different opinions, it's normal, it's not obvious, but very good, serene atmosphere. It was very interesting. And also then, the conclave, of course, I cannot say anything about what was inside, but was very interesting anyway, the context, the rite. Everything is very slow, very solemn, and also to be in the Sistina after the Michelangelo frescoes was create very unique atmosphere, very solemn and very religious also in a way. Everything inside was religious, was a rite, a kind of liturgy. Was very, anyway, interesting. And as I think was clear, there was a very large, very clear agreement among the cardinals about the decisions to take. So that's all. Then I'm ready to ask your questions. Yes.
Just please, when you ask a question, present yourself at the agency.
Okay, I'm Greg Korkman, Catholic News Agency, Germany. The Pope spoke already about Gaza and was asking for a ceasefire. Did in all these days, during the conclave and after especially, the question of travel, of a visit of the Holy Father to the Holy Land was mentioned? Or if not, did you bring it up? Is it a wish of yours?
It was not the contest to talk about the travels of the Pope as long as the Pope was not there. And we don't know who the Pope is. But of course, the question of, when they say the relation with the world in all the different aspects, the question of peace and was central. And the different conflict, but the two main conflicts we are talking about, Ukraine and Middle East, Gaza and so on, were mentioned more than once, not just by myself, of course, I couldn't not to talk about, but also many others. I think the point of the peace and the interreligious dialogue was dialogue with the cultures and so on, was something quite common in all the different different contexts where the cardinals were coming from.
Judith from OSV News. I have two questions. Pope Francis would call the Gaza parish every day.
Almost every day.
Almost every day. They gave them a lot of support and feeling togetherness. Do you know if the Pope has any idea of doing something like that?
I think it's too early now. Let him breathe a little bit. He's just elected, and there are a lot of things that he has to do in these days. He has to organize himself, his life, and so on. And of course, after some weeks after he settled, the question also of the Middle East desk will be there. So then we can discuss about also the different aspects.
And another question, I don't know if you can say anything about this, but what were some of the considerations that were discussed when thinking about who would make the best pope? Were there some certain issues that were discussed specifically that?
No, I mean, what has been said more than once is natura non facit saltus, ecclesia non facit saltus, is Latin mean church doesn't jump here and there. So there is all, continuity is important, continuity and diversity, of course. Everyone has his own style, his own personality. And we already saw this in these first days, the different style of every pope. This is unavoidable. It is also a beautiful aspect. We don't want to have clones. And then we'll see. It's too early now to talk about it. Dunque la prima ha scritto anche Rabbino Marantz dell'American Jewish Committee, ha scritto ad altri. È normale in questi momenti, insomma, di scrivere alle varie realtà con le quali la Santa Sede è in relazione per informare, ma anche per invitare, per ricominciare, insomma, il dialogo. Il dialogo con il mondo ebraico è importante, come è importante il dialogo anche interreligioso con le altre religioni, ed è parte costitutiva ormai della vita della Chiesa. È una delle cose che ho detto nel mio intervento, è che citando Rav Eshel, nessuna religione è un'isola, anche la Chiesa cattolica non è un'isola, quindi non viviamo su un'isola, dunque la interazione è costitutiva della vita della Chiesa e mi auguro, per avere relazione bisogna essere in due almeno, quindi mi auguro che, sono certo di questo, che ci sia questa possibilità. Che dura da troppo tempo e che ha bisogno di essere conclusa e questo conflitto, che comunque resterà, ha bisogno di interlocutori seri, credibili e che sappiano risolvere il problema non con le armi ma con il dialogo necessario, politico, religioso, sociale, economico, quello che serve.
In italiano o in inglese? In italiano. Salve Tonacci di Repubblica. Lei era dato uno dei papabili, lei ci ha pensato, ci ha creduto, ha temuto, perché poi non è talmente grosso che potesse essere lei il nuovo Papa. Questa è la prima domanda. La seconda domanda si rifà a quello che diceva il mio collega. Il Papa Francesco è sempre stato molto critico nei confronti del governo israeliano per la guerra a Gaza. Volevo capire se il nuovo Papa è sulla stessa linea, se è riuscito a parlarci su questo specifico argomento, cioè il rapporto non tanto con la comunità ebraica ma proprio con il governo israeliano.
Dunque, per me ci sono due conclavi, quello dei media e quello reale, cioè quello virtuale e quello reale. Dunque io ero dentro quello reale, quindi sapevo molto bene come erano le cose, quindi era molto chiaro ed ero molto tranquillo. Insomma, ero un po' disturbato dal chiasso che si faceva attorno a me, questo lo devo riconoscere umanamente, non è stato semplice gestirlo, ma sapevo molto bene come erano le cose, quindi non avevo alcun... ed ero molto sereno su questo e siamo tutti molto contenti, sia ben chiaro, credo che sia una cosa, sia andata bene così.
Now under this new pope to expand, to have a louder voice on the diplomatic arena, to have a greater presence on world matters in general. We've had a little hint with the new Pope's comments maybe about Ukraine and his conversation with Zelensky, but do you think this augurs a more activist era?
I think the Pope will be very present, cannot be otherwise, in the international arena as religious leader, first of all. And he will not enter, I cannot know exactly what is going to happen because, as I said, it's too early, but as I feel, as I understand, he will not enter into the direct political dynamics, but he will remain anyway, as also has been asked more than once, even in the past, voice of the Church, not the voice of the Pope only, the voice of the Church, in the big, the important context, especially context of poverty, of war, of where there are issues in a way from a human point of view and values point of view.
Migration?
Huh?
Migration?
Migration is also, before becoming Pope, he was very active on these migration, wars, some economical elements, economy that sometimes destroys the life of peoples, of nations, instead of letting them grow. And so on. So there are issues where the Church will be present and the Pope will be voice, without entering into the internal political dynamics, which is not part of the life of the Church.
Vede che diciamo, le tensioni degli ultimi mesi tra il governo israeliano e Bergoglio, che diciamo, veniva tracciato per queste dichiarazioni quasi quotidiane, insomma, sulla situazione terribile di Gaza. Lei pensa che ci sia un modo o è già al lavoro la vostra diplomazia per alleggerire la tensione?
Lei è, scusi?
Silvano Logozzo dell'ANSA.
Ah, ecco. Diciamo la diplomazia non ha mai smesso di lavorare. Ecco, vedo nella partecipazione del Presidente un desiderio di mantenere vive queste relazioni, e adesso è presto per vedere cosa sarà, anche comunque sono certo che c'è da parte di entrambi il desiderio di migliorare le relazioni per il bene di tutti.
Fasano, per quello della sera. Lei prevede, ha previsto un suo prossimo futuro ingresso a Gaza? So che adesso è difficilissimo, non si può, però magari ha già avviato passaggi per poter fare.
Diciamo che nel viaggio a Gaza è sempre nella lista delle cose da fare. Bisogna metterlo in contesto, bisogna capire, queste visite devono aiutare e non creare ulteriori problemi, quindi bisogna creare anche il contesto, trovare il contesto giusto. Qualsiasi cosa si possa fare per aiutare, noi ci saremo.
Could you repeat that in English? Because I understood the question. You were asking, are you going to go to Gaza, right?
But I said that the possible visit to Gaza is always on the list. I mean, things to be done. But of course, the visit should be put in a context that will help our community and the population there, and not create further burden to the community and so on. So, but all what is necessary to do, possible to do, we will do. In any case, without any fear, without any problem, and with a lot of determination. We are, of course, in contact. First of all, the life of the Christians in the Middle East has never been easy, not just now. And since years, we are facing a lot of troubles from Iraq, from Syria, anyway, here also in some ways. And we have in contacts. We have continuous contacts among us in order to help each other, support each other as much as we can, of course. We cannot solve the major problems, but we can express solidarity and closeness. This is what we can do right now. And also, the Church, to support it from the humanitarian point of view is essential, because we are human beings. And also it's important to find the right words of consolation. We don't have many things. What we have are words and heart, and we have to use both. And like a normal tourist, so you couldn't enjoy that much. So to be there, to have all the time at your disposal was something unique. And also my place, where I was seated, was just under the creation of Adam. So I spent all my time waiting for the procedure to finish, looking and enjoying the frescoes.